Yeah, good morning, everybody. Happy New Year. This is the first daily digest of the year. And of course, my name is Jimi Disu. Right, this is a new year 2021. And what it means is that we might be putting some slight variation into how this program will run this year. As a rule, we always try to change things around and have a new perspective to the things that we do. Right. One of the things I'm trying to introduce into this program, moving on, today's my first day, so I need some time to actually settle a whole lot of issues. But going forward, one of the things I'm trying to do is to play some music in between the program. Now, let me quickly explain that the kind of music that I like to play, not that I like to listen to, but I like to play, is what I call music with a message. For those who have been used to following me, you will know that what my music usually tallies with the subject of the day or something very, very close to it. So what you'll be hearing is not your normal ding ding bang bang fisi, you're done on this. It won't be any of that. It would be music. I grew up on music with a message. Let me confess, I grew up on rebel music, Fela Kuti, Bob Marley, Peter Tosh and stuff like that. And then, of course, a bit of jazz here and there. So that's the kind of music that you'll be listening to, music with a message. You have quite a few of them even as we speak. And so, yes, so we'll look forward to that. These things will be tidied up and will probably, come into place next week. And also, the other thing is, like I said last year, we're going to concentrate less on this government, on Buhari's government, and indeed the Lagos State government, because I think that we probably need to shift our focus slightly. I think we have to learn to live with what we have and who we voted for. And there are successes, yes, but we have to live with what we consider some of the failings of governance at both federal and state level, and now look forward and look at issues that will help us survive these times. I think that nothing will change if we keep going along the old strategy. We keep bashing ourselves, fighting on Twitter, fighting here and there in the social media. I don't think I'm too interested in all that. In any case, the reasoning that comes out, out there in the open sometimes can be quite irritating and can. So rather, we'll focus on how we can survive the times that we are in. Because we are, by any known definition, we're virtually a failed state, to be honest with you. We're virtually a failed state. And there's so many things that we haven't gotten right. And what has happened over the years, right from only God knows how many years we've been at it, saying the same old thing, and it looks as if those who the matters concern, that is those who are in power and so on and so forth, are hell bent on continuing the same of the same, and therefore we have to change strategy. So my focus this year, a lot of it will be on how to survive these trying times. Okay, how to survive these trying times. So we'll be doing a lot of development. We'll still do a bit of politics here and there. The other issue, of course, politics would be we need to start preparing ourselves, okay, for a new beginning in 2023. We are going to make that attempt one more time. And like I said, that process is not going to be an event. It's going to be a marathon. It's going to be a real marathon, and we should all be prepared to make sure that we can at least jumpstart a new beginning in 2023 so that we do not have same of same. Meaning, by now we should start casting our eyes and ears and whatever on, even though we might not know who we might want to vote in, let us first of all settle who we definitely will not vote in 2023. I think age might become a factor. I think that we would need a fresh beginning. I don't think it would do us any good to have the same of same. Whatever anybody might tell you, no matter what the propaganda is, I think age would be a factor. We'd like a new and fresh beginning, and also we don't want the same of same. So if we have the same actors, I would rather we just turn our backs on them. In all honesty, Nigeria does need a fresh beginning. But let me also make it clear. I've seen in the social media, people complain that he wants to ram his opinion down our throat. That's not the issue. What we have here in all the programs that we do is to stimulate your interest and set you thinking, because we are not always right. We are human. You must understand that we are not always right. But the purpose of these programs and these discussions that we have is to stimulate your thinking, and you are absolutely free to take whatever side of the divide that you like. So when we take a position here, you're free to join, or you're free to, for all you know, you might even be the one who is right. Because I'm beginning to admit that some of these people seem to, quote and unquote, understand this country much more than a lot of us do. And I'm being sarcastic, just in case. I wish you could see me as I'm speaking. Okay, so so this someone told me sometime last year that you are the one who made us vote for Buhari. I said, what nonsense is that? Did I Nami press your finger on top the ballot paper? Okay, so those are the things that we do. This year, I have a premonition that there might be God's interference in what we are doing. And that came out immediately, when I saw the Jagwajantis that one man of God was saying about some political leader. And I said to myself, God is beginning to expose, and plant confusion in the camp of those who want to put us in eternal slavery. Because how, for example, a religious leader, a man of God, would tolerate a lot of things that were ascribed to this gentleman and tell us to gloss over it, I don't quite understand. How that came about in a sermon in a church, I also don't understand. Maybe it was a birthday ceremony. I don't know what it was, but how that. But if you look, if you're somebody who looks critically, if you looked at the audience, you will see that there was some kind of silence when this gentleman was speaking. To say that I was disappointed, would be hypocritical of me, because I'd always had my suspicion about a lot of, sorry to say, men of God. And that's why I said that at one time I even had to pronounce myself so a man of God. I remember paying tribute to one of the pastors that I respect so much, Pastor Wale Adefaransi. Wale is of Guiding Light Assembly, who one time got so frustrated, he said that he didn't want anybody to address him as pastor anymore. Okay, he said, don't call us, don't call me. He was so disgusted what was going in that realm. And we've seen a bit of that. I think God is going to expose quite a number of people this year. Like I said, to say I was disappointed, no. I just laughed and said that this is God at work. So there's a lot of hope in 2021, and we can help shape that. Welcome to a new year. I'd like to pay tribute to the lady who used to sit next to me. She's giving me another granddaughter, a baby girl, Zainab. Zainab had a baby girl when I was on vacation, and I hope she's listening and she's up and doing. So congratulations to Zainab, which I hope that baby is one of 2 or 3 other babies coming up. What it actually did was that my prediction was wrong. I thought there were 2 boys. I thought there were 2 boys, and I actually ordered an Arsenal and Chelsea t-shirt for the 2 boys. So the baby t-shirts for Arsenal and Chelsea might be up for grabs for anybody who is lucky to win that one. Yeah, so you're welcome to Daily Digest. My name is Jimi Disu. Standing in West, my madam is away. He's a man. I don't know why I don't have another woman sitting next to me.
I'll bring another woman.
You bring another. But he's a man, Sheriff. Sheriff, how are you? How are things?
Well, very well. Mm-hmm. Very well. Very well. I mean, things have not been quite. It's the same rhetoric, headache every now and again, because you're discussing the same issues over and over again. Yeah. But personally, we're coping.
We're coping. Yeah, that's why I said that the things we look out for. I'm tired. Nothing has changed. At state level, for example, The traffic is still bad.
The traffic is still horrible.
The enforcement of the law is zero. In broad daylight, on a working day, you still have Okadas on Eco Bridge. You still have Okadat, Keken Napep, Danfos driving one way on Carter Bridge. I saw a bit of that last week. So that's why I said I wonder, is it a capacity problem or do you think that, I'm talking of Lagos now because that's our immediate constituency. Do you think it is a lack of capacity or lack of will or lack of strategy? You hear a lot of rhetoric, the rhetoric that comes, and in these days, though, those who are handling the, I don't want to call it the image of, I don't like using that word, but those who are handling the, for want of the image of governor, they need to be careful. We are not talking to kids here. This is not a teenage party. Some of the things, the governor had COVID, you showed him exercising. I saw a press release and they said the governor is at work. It's not about propaganda. Listen, people will make up their minds about those who run their lives based on how it affects them. Period. Not about what you see in the media or what propaganda you bring out. But that's a story for another day. We'll bring the likes of Yomi Badejo or Kusonya later in the year to sort things like that out. But I plead with my colleagues to try and be a bit more professional and be less juvenile, in trying to use, for want of a better word, to try to package the governor. You can see the kind of trouble the Ogun State governor got himself in with those kind of things. I think a more matured approach would be appreciated. But back to the issue of this enforcement of the law and traffic in Lagos.
Right.
Where do you think the problem lies?
I think it's everywhere. I think it lies with the government, it lies with the people as well, because normally people should, the same people that you have here in Nigeria, take them anywhere else where there is law and order. You see people conforming with
that's
the
why
law and
enforcement
order
is
there.
key.
Right. So people do the right thing regardless, whether they see any police officer or anybody.
But they know there are cameras.
Yes, of course. They do know that there are
there are
cameras.
cameras.
They know that they're being watched as well. It's the same thing. It's as simple as you are in your house and you just decided to throw something on the floor when it's not when you know that that thing belongs to the waste bin. It's as simple. It starts from there. It starts from you telling your kids the right thing to do, so that when that kid gets out there, maybe in school or something, he or she knows, this is where you throw waste. This is how you walk. This is how you greet elders. This is how you, relate with other people. So I think it's both ways actually. The government has a huge responsibility to play, the role to play here.
Well, I just like to adjust that a little bit because I believe that when it comes to things like traffic, all over the world, enforcement is key. All over the world. Where it works in the other countries, I don't like you to use the word developed.
Yeah.
But for want of a better word, let's just quickly use that word and run away from it. It's because you know that there are cameras and there are sanctions.
Yeah.
This Lagos State government has refused. What you have is little pockets of, so 20 motorists were arrested, taking one way, this and that. If you were enforcing judgment every day, you'd have close to 50 to 60 vehicles. Now, what do I think the governor can do? One of the things he probably needs to do is to set up some kind of task force headed by various pockets of task forces, little task forces, headed by like a director level, and say that, okay, you go to Alimosho today and go and enforce, so that people have this idea that it could show up at any time. Also, you need maybe to make use of matured people in society and make them marshals. Fit cameras in their cars. It's so simple. You see a guy coming one way, you don't need to apprehend him. Your camera, that is until they can get CCTV running.
Yeah.
But you can have individual cameras in your car. We need to be more creative. Because what I hear is that the excuse that is being given by the government is that, they're not getting very much cooperation from the Nigerian police for various political reasons and other reasons I'd rather not delve into. But like I said this morning when we were reviewing the news, Sherry,
yes,
people don't want excuses, they want the job done. Our leaders need to be much more creative, more creative. And I beg the governor, to try and try some innovations and enforce the law. It is disheartening for you to have non-Nigerians in your car and you're driving on a bridge like Qatar Bridge, and here comes this horde of whatever, and they say, "What's going on here?" The whole place has become a complete jungle.
So let's talk about that enforcement a while longer. The
Yes.
government tried to enforce the no Okada on the road rule.
Yes.
And you and I, we are aware what happened. They were attacked. That's when the government tried to enforce it. So it's actually both ways. There are people who are just there to make sure that they break that law.
That is no excuse. I'm sorry. A government that wants to enforce the law gets attacked and withdraws is no government.
No, they didn't actually withdraw. They
So
got
what
attacked.
happened?
They got attacked back
Yes.
to back. They still
listen.
seized those motorcycles.
It is-
They went to another place. They seized motorcycles and they got attacked again. They went to another place. Yeah.
It is no. You beef up your numbers and you strategize. You have more of your people in Mufti. You have more of your armed people in Mufti. Look, it's not an excuse.
No, it's not an excuse. I'm saying that the people have a
Yes.
role to play as well in obeying the law.
I agree, but look, the people on one hand, the government is one. They were the ones we voted in and have the responsibility of enforcing the law. A government, you see, it's not for as long as you have somebody thinking of re-election and wanting to be liked by the people. It's not going to be. We have seen it done before.
Yeah. Successfully done
Successfully, I hate to keep referring to Raji Fashola, but to the Fashola as if it's the only man God ever created. But it's been done before in his time. He would take no for an answer, and that's what it should be. I have a funny feeling that Jide Sanwo-Olu is somebody who loves to be liked by the people, and might not have the grit to enforce the law. That is my take of him. And I think that was part of what got him into trouble during the NSAS, whatever, when he tried to play a mix of both and endear himself to the people. No. A leader has to take some hard decisions and stand by it. Once you are sure and convinced in your mind that's what to do, whatever it takes, you get it done.
Right.
Our lines are open 0900. Oh, sorry, 0.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm still on
0700.
0700
Yeah.
993. I said 09.
Oh,
Even you were not listening. 0700 993 993 993. Let's contribute to this discussion. Do I have anybody?
yes,
there?
you do.
Okay, good morning.
We're processing. They're processing that person downstairs. Once the person is ready,
okay.
would get the person in. Almost ready though.
Almost ready. Yeah,
Almost
let's
ready.
get
Almost
him in.
ready. The name is Femi. Let's speak with Femi very quickly now.
Okay. Morning.
Hello, good morning, Uncle Jimmy.
Morning, Uncle Femi.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
Yeah, it's really good to be back on there.
Yes.
I want to say two things. Nigerian context, so far, democracy has not really been the best government. Because if I remember very well, I'm young, but not that young. Most of the infrastructure we have in Nigeria today, most of them were constructed under the military regime.
Okay.
And if you look at what democracy has really done in Nigeria, it has just, demify some people, made them gods. And when they want to make their decision, all they need to do is contact one or two of their likes, and they kind of indirectly, unconsciously to the people, enforce their people. That is what has been happening. That is why we've been kind of limited in terms of choices. The right people who are supposed to be in position to make things happen are not really having that opportunity to be in position. That is the one.
Okay.
The second one is in terms of enforcement of the law. I think the disparity between, let me say, state and federal in terms of security is really a major problem. You find out that the interest of the police, especially in Lagos State, for example, is kind of not really the same when it comes to what the state wants. So you find the state implementing a law and saying, don't do this, don't do that. But the police, on the other hand, would be doing opposite. Somebody is driving on a one-way, for example, all the person needs to do is just to stretch out his hand at a police post who is supposed to arrest the person and hand something to the people.
I understand. Offer a bribe. Yes. Okay, fine. Right. Please, when you do call, you have just a minute. Okay, so let's try and be a bit precise. But I hope that you are not trying to insinuate that that military governance is better than democracy. I don't believe so. What I do believe, though, is that we might need to have our own homegrown kind of democracy. Definitely, what we are practicing right now is the greatest form of madness I've ever seen. It's not it's neither democracy nor governance. What we have is a whole bunch of a lot of opportunists taking taking all of us to the cleaners. That's what we have mostly. I'm not saying in all. I'm not wrapping everybody in one leaf, but mostly what you have. I'm sorry to say, is a whole lot of racketeering here and there, and the little things just to placate the people. All this must change, and all this will change if all of us, put our resources together. I don't mean money, but put all our resources, material and whatever together, and then make sure and ensure and emphasize that we must have good governance. For example, I believe a lot in independent candidacy. To be honest with you, there are people in neighborhoods who would even want to run. If we had independent candidacy, for example, I would have wanted to be a councillor in my area, just so that I can be Baba Saleh in my own area and make sure that everything runs right. Just be like an ordinary councillor. I think these are the little things we need to look at. I have another caller there. Oh, we have a commenter. Your finger is going up like Zainab's zone. You remember that Zainab's finger? I know she's laughing at him right now. Yes, your finger is going up like Zainab's zone. Okay, so we have to take a short commercial break, and then we'll be right back.
Smart is starting early. Smart is you being proactive.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. 99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
You're listening to Jimi Disu, right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Yeah, you're welcome back to Daily Digest, and we'll take the phone calls. But I'd like to read this. We couldn't read it this morning, but I'd like to quickly read this to you before I forget or before time, puts this aside. The story is in the Nation, and it says, "People died in my isolation center," says Ali Baba. Ace comedian Ali Baba has described anyone who claims COVID-19 is a scam, that he says that person is a fool. The award-winning entertainer took to his Instagram page on yesterday to share a video where he narrated his experience while at the Yaba Infectious Disease Hospital, COVID-19 Isolation Center in Lagos, after contracting the virus. Ali Baba, who revealed that many people died during his time at the isolation center, called on Nigerians to adhere to the COVID-19 guidelines put in place by the federal and state government. And he said that the need to heed the protocols became necessary amid the second wave of the pandemic, which he claimed is deadlier than the first. And he said he spent his Christmas and New Year holidays at the isolation center, enjoyed Nigerians to distance themselves from those who still think that coronavirus pandemic is a scam. It's not a scam. The whole of Britain now, as we speak, is on lockdown, tier 5, which means everybody stays at home. Okay, you're only allowed on the streets when it's absolutely necessary. But they have a plan. And that's what I was pointing out to Philip this morning downstairs. They have a plan. And the plan is they're hoping that by February, a larger percentage of the population would have been vaccinated. Okay? So whilst it is gone on the rampage, they say, okay, look, we are going to shut down till February. Okay? But by February, we are hoping that a larger part of the population would have been vaccinated, and that to put this COVID thingy under some kind of control. That is the plan in the UK. There's a problem with the plan in the US because the current president of the United States, who should be the cheerleader of this whole exercise, is busy trying to convince anybody who listens to him that he won the election. Ironically, he has loads of supporters, but if you're a follower of American wrestling, you'll probably tend to think that possibly the culture there is. If you go to watch American wrestling, there's a lot of cheating that goes on, and it is acknowledged. But that's a story for Americans. That's a problem for Americans to solve. Back home here, what is the plan that we have? Okay, so we can't shut down. Okay, has the government told us if we're going to be vaccinated? No. What has the Lagos State government done? Schools should resume on January 8th. Am I right? Sorry? 18th. Yes. What else has been done to say two or three isolation centers in Lagos have been shut down? So what is the plan? You can see that all of us have been bound to the Philistines, meaning that everybody has now been given the responsibility to take care of him or herself. Because granted, for economic reasons, you cannot afford to shut down. It won't work anyway. You cannot afford to shut down. Okay, granted that you can't do that. What is the alternative plan? The alternative plan is just to tell citizens to do the right thing. We have no plan as I speak. I have not heard anything about vaccination. What I heard in the grapevine is that, there are some negotiations going on with the Chinese. They're trying to get access some 10% of the population vaccines for, we're looking for the free ones and so on and so forth. Meanwhile, our VIPs are hopping on the next available plane to go and see if they can get vaccinated abroad. You see now, some of them have been approaching, trying to make contacts as to how even they can get the vaccine down here and they can distribute it among the big people, get themselves vaccinated and bound the rest of us to the Philistines. These are the things that sometimes make us say that we are a failed state. Because I would have thought that if it appears that you've been totally defeated about what to do, the least you would be able to tell the Nigerian people is to give a definite date and where you can get the vaccine and which one you are going to get. Because there are various vaccines now. I think there's the Pfizer one, there's another one from Oxford University, I think the Chinese have one, the Indians also have one. Which one are we getting? None to my knowledge. I am choosing my words carefully. None to my knowledge. Any plan for vaccination? No. Anybody, for example, who is 60 and above knows that living in the UK, knows that in the third week of January is going to be his turn. He's just going to stroll down to his GP, get vaccinated like a flu jab, and come back home. Or he could go. The plan also, he might be able to walk up to a Boots, whatever. His name is already in the system, age and whatever, as date of birth. He gets vaccinated and he cannot go somewhere else to get a double vaccination. Well organized. What are we doing here? Nothing. Nothing. And therefore, I'd like to call on our people to please be extremely careful. You are on your own. You are on your own. The isolation centers, to the best of my knowledge, are filled up because some of the ones that we had, I think the one at Tonike and Landmark, were knocked off. So the government has shifted the responsibility to you. These people will take care of themselves, I can assure you. Most of them will run to Harley Street, go to their private doctors or whatever it is to see how they can get this, and they'll go with their kids and whatever. So you need to take care of yourself. Do not, I repeat, do not be in denial of the fact that there is COVID. If you feel helpless, it's a different thing entirely. If you feel helpless and you don't know where to run to, but do not try and deceive other people and say that COVID is a scam. Would the whole world be scamming the rest of the world? It is real. And for your information, there is a new strain coming from South Africa. And for your information, again, I don't mean to frighten you, but you might as well know, there is a new virus that is being suspected. It is called Virus X. Have you heard of that, Sherry? Yes. Virus X. So we have a long haul ahead of us. I saw with a lot of irresponsibility during the New Year, people having parties, going to beaches. I couldn't believe my eyes. Last Sunday here, in VI here, at about 8:39, you could see the crowd was coming. No masks. They were having taffin lorry. Some of them. Some of them what you walk back. Some of them don't correct. You know where you say somebody don't correct. Some of them want to correct. You could see from the way the breeze was blowing them as they were walking. I just parked for one side, made them come out, made them to go their own way. And I said to myself, what is wrong with us as a people? What is wrong? Why do we have so much of a death wish? All this must change this year. We're going to try and change these things around this year. Let me take another call. Hello.
Hello?
Yes.
Good sir.
Morning.
Yeah, I got Jimi Disu.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Happy New Year, sir.
Happy New Year to you, sir. Okay.
Yeah. Please, I want to comment on this issue of traffic.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm an Uber driver, so I'm always on the road every day, every minute.
Yes.
Yeah, I think all this traffic issue boils down to enforcement 100%.
Yes.
Because most of the traffic are being caused either by truck drivers or all these commercial bus drivers. And another thing about this ban on Okada, I thought they said they ban Okada in Ikeja, all this area.
Yes.
But I was surprised to see Okada riding at
they're everywhere.
Alausa. Well, yeah, one collected one guy phone that was making a call, and he just zoomed off with the bike, and that's the headquarters of Lagos State, and nothing happened. And you see all those starts collecting money from all those bikes at Alausa, and nothing happened. So I believe everything boils down to enforcement. I'm highly disappointed with the government of Sanwo-Olu. 100%, yeah, highly disappointed. Thank you, and have a wonderful year.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. Hello, morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Uncle Jimmy. Welcome back. Happy New Year to you.
Yes. Isn't this Ambassador Musba?
Yeah, this is Ambassador Musba.
Ambassador, how are you?
I'm fine, Uncle Jimmy.
Happy New Year.
Same to you, sir. Uncle Jimmy. Yeah, this morning, he said something that I'm not totally agree with you. Do respect, sir.
Go on now.
It took this government and they can't do more than what they are doing. And I should wait for 2023 to vote for someone who is younger, assuming like 40 something, assuming that person I voted for 40 years man again, and disappoint me again, as you want 2037, no, Uncle Jimmy, if I cannot get it right now, with this present government, there's no hope. There's no any hope anywhere that I can get it 2017, 2020 something. It is now. If I cannot come together to hold this government accountable now, till Jesus Christ come, I cannot get it. It is now. If Nigeria can come together now to do something, not violence anymore, not violence, we find a way to hold them accountable. It is better now. It is now or never.
Okay.
Good morning.
Morning. Well, yes, I think you're right. What I said this morning was born more out of frustration and strategy, because I know my Nigerian people better now, and what you want is what should be, but the question is what is. Are people come together to hold them accountable? The answer is no, because of the kind of people that we are. The answer is no. We always believe that somebody else is going to carry the can for us. I've seen that's a part of our culture. So you are absolutely right, Ambassador. But what I said this morning, I said out of complete frustration, knowing my fellow Nigerians. They will sit back and do nothing. Okay? They will sit back and do nothing. They will all look towards God, and God will do it. God will do this and God will do that. I know our people. So what I said was that in terms of strategy, maybe it would be better if we concentrate our efforts in trying to see if we can have a better government in 2023, because whatever you throw at this gentleman is not going to budge. He's not going to change his ways. So what I meant is that you might have to live with what we have now. I don't see any real change in terms of governance happening, to be honest with you. But I share your optimism, though, but have done enough of that. I share your optimism. Let's put the government to account and so on and so forth. But what do you get? Nothing. Look at the president's speech, in January, completely empty. You understand what I'm saying? So that was what prompted me to say that. And I think that I would rather concentrate on having known now what I now know. If for 6 years somebody has been doing same of same, why should I spend my energy trying to turn him around for the next 2 years when I could spend that time trying to make sure that the right person. And when I said a younger person might not necessarily be somebody in his. That's not what I meant. Is somebody who is a bit more exposed, virile, a new generation. Okay, a new generation. We can't keep having these same people for the past 20 years and not want to move on. I'm sorry. I heard that somebody who's been contesting the presidency for about 2-3 years is gearing up again to show his head. It's within his rights, though. I concede that it is within his rights. But I am firmly of the belief that Nigeria needs a new beginning. We need somebody who is exposed. We need somebody who would stand out there and will all, he'll be able to mobilize. It's a part of the failure of leadership is we haven't for a long time have had that kind of leadership that you look up to. You find that Nigerians now have developed a culture of not wanting to obey any law anymore. I give you an example. You want to board a plane, and they say that, okay, those in zone F, that is at the end of the plane, should go in first. For orderly whatever, they push the whatever aside, and everybody rushes into the plane, flight delayed by 30 minutes. We now have a culture of disobedience. And that has not been helped, unfortunately, by the end. People believe that, there is what you call people power, and therefore no laws should be obeyed. It's one of the reasons that Jide Sanwo-Olu might be having in Lagos in trying to enforce the law. People have lost complete confidence in leadership. Whereas in this country, I remember way back, this same gentleman in 1984, we all looked up to him. Everybody was happy, himself and Idi Agbon. Way back then, people queued, fell. Before you knew it, everybody was living, in a very orderly manner. In 1984, I remember the way I felt when I heard Diko was put in a crate, and there was an effort to bring him back to Nigeria. We said, at last, we have a government in Nigeria. Not long after that, you get a wig, and everything everything scatter. Then of course you now have the footballer, dribbling everybody around. So we can't continue like this. And I don't think Nigeria would ever, to recall a member of the House of Assembly itself is almost impossible in Nigeria. Talk less of trying to impeach a president or change things around. That's not possible. So forget all that. Forget all that. I would rather let us try and see. So I agree with you, Ambassador, and I agree with you totally. But I also believe that we need to look at the other ways. A few things happened when I was away. One, of course, is the issue of that involved the supposedly the MD of a bank, fathering 2-3 children with a member of his staff while the woman was married. And I found a lot of sentimental reactions. People were reacting to something they don't understand. Why do I say that? Okay, no, so what you're saying is that this gentleman died because of the grief of his wife having children for another man. The question is, did you hear any reaction from a member of his family? The answer is no, I didn't see. You understand? If the accusation was from a member of his family, I would gladly understand. And if that were it, the family, they know what exactly to do. They would know what exactly to do. Bringing it to the public space is not going to solve anything. There are ways by which that matter can be tackled. So the man is not even alive for us to know what the reaction is. Now, is there the DNA, according to the report, says that the children did not belong to the man, but did the DNA say that it actually now belonged to the bank MD? I didn't read anything like that. So we need to be careful. And maybe it is also possible that the family, both the family of the gentleman, that's the husband, maybe they just want to keep it quiet. It is something that will be more to it than you and I might want to know. So the question is, let us allow privacy in these things before we start commenting and making remarks. Let us be sure of what. Let us stop crying more than the bereaved. And then I now hear that, okay, the gathering signatures that the man should be relieved of his job. The bank knows what it will cost them to relieve him of his job when there's been no direct accusation against it. It doesn't work that way. And some people said, I've heard people say that, they are going to withdraw their accounts from the bank because of this happened and shame. No serious businessman would withdraw his account based on what is going on there. I would rather Nigerians just learn to mind their own business and respect people's privacy. I am not absolving anybody of anything, but I just felt that we have forgotten that even the children of that man, the 3 children involved, are human beings and have a future to face. And in all this fury, we are forgetting the damage that we are doing to even the reputation of the children. And when you say that, okay, you want to gather together, withdraw your account, so you want a bank to collapse. What about all the employees in that bank that had no hand in this, nationwide? So let's be careful and let's try not to get carried away by these things. Let's be careful. It's part of what I said the other day about etiquette. Because we now have a social media, doesn't give us the right to go into people's family affairs and turn it into a public whatever. I find that quite unfortunate. I found it unfortunate. Let's all be matured and stop entertaining ourselves, and let's think more of our individual future and the future of this country. And then this idea also, I like this idea of people have suddenly gone into a frenzy. Go and do a DNA for all your children. When you father a child, it doesn't necessarily have to come from your loins. It doesn't necessarily have to. In fact, I saw something that said the position of the law is that if a woman has any child under whatever it is, as long as she's married, it belongs to the man, whether he did the physical act or not. Do you know how many children actually have been fathered by other people secretly and so on and so forth, why do we make so much noise over nothing? So, okay, now I fathered a child for 30 years and suddenly discover that it's not from my loins and say, so what do? I no longer be his father. I beg, let's forget that one, I beg. I like to call for a bit of caution. And for us to, in the excitement and entertainment, whilst we're entertaining ourselves by going to the social media and saying all kinds of things, let us also think of the lives of those children. Let us think of the lives of the woman. You do not know. You are indicting somebody in a case where you don't have enough information. That is what it is. That is what it is. And like I said, what do you think is going to happen to those children? What about the family of the gentleman who died, who probably would know more than you about the circumstances that actually led to his death, and will now be in fear that, they hope the truth about his death will not come out? You know, I'm not holding brief for anybody. If I refuse to go in depth into it, I just took it on the surface because I always mind my business. I always mind my business. What people do in their private lives, it has no bearing on me whatsoever. Okay? So I'd like to plead caution in that whatever. Once you're having fun, life is a very short. Before you know it, to be 30 years, those children will be 30-something year olds. Look at what happened to Monica Lewinsky. She never recovered. So please, let's try and find something else. Let's talk about Arsenal and Chelsea, or talk, if you don't want to talk about governance, or talk about COVID, or talk about how we can develop ourselves. And leave all these issues, because they are larger. Especially, I have cautioned people about commenting on things that you do not have full information about. It is something that you might turn to regret. Okay, I got to get out of here. I finished for the day. Welcome to 2021. We'll take off full steam tomorrow with Diabomi. Okay? Diabomi, I'm going to be joined by a former banker turned restaurant owner. Onse Bass. I hope I'm not running a commercial. So she'll be here tomorrow and we'll have our fun, Diabomi, as usual. I'd like to thank everybody. Sheriff, thank you very much. But please watch that finger of yours. And in the case of Sheriff, instead of him to point the finger where Zainab, he pointed it at me. So out of instinct, I thought Sheriff was pointing a gun at me. But I wanted to bring some kurube out from my left pocket. I'll see you all tomorrow, okay? Have a lovely day. See you tomorrow. Bye.